Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing fine and I hope it's not too cold where you are, because we're currently in winter most parts of the world. So I hope winter hasn't been too bad on you. But anyways, today I want to dive into a topic that is super important, especially for people who love to help others but end up feeling drained, overwhelmed, or sometimes even resentful. The key is finding balance in being able to help yourself and helping others. This is a topic that I feel we need to shed more light on, or we need to be able to point out the key aspects that are important in understanding why it is very important for you as a human being to have stood your ground before being able to lift other people. There was an example that a friend of mine made. We're having this conversation and the person said, imagine being sick, you're a sick person and you're asking other people to lean on your shoulder, to come let you carry them. It is not possible. All of you will end up falling down because you're sick and you're weak. You need to be healthy first before you can assist another person. So that is why I said it is important for us to shed some light on this topic. It is very important and vital to help people. In fact, that is one of the most beautiful traits any human being could have, helping others, being selfless. It is really important and a very good trait. But you cannot help people when you've not been able to help yourself. I understand that we tend to get emotional, from the point of empathy. People love to help people when you try to put yourself, because empathy is about putting yourself in people's shoes, trying to understand or see the world from their own point of view as much as you can. So I understand the role of empathy. I understand the role of understanding. All of those is good and is important. That's what makes you human. But regardless of all of these that I've mentioned, even if you have so much empathy, it doesn't guarantee you being able to help others when you've not been able to help yourself. That is one of the most dangerous things you can do for yourself, and it is impossible for you to rise with this mentality. This is me speaking from experience, from what I know, what I've witnessed, and what I have also personally experienced. This is, or to my knowledge, it's common in Africa, where maybe a family of 7 who are struggling, or just above minimum wage, they are living okay, and one person happens to make it in life or have some sort of ground. Everything about that family now becomes dependent on that person's shoulder. And this is not saying, or this is not encouraging you to not help your loved ones. No, that is way far from what I'm talking about today. That is why I started by saying helping people is one of the best traits you can have as a human being. But in as much as these people are your family members, that is your mom, that is your father, that is your brother, that's your sister, that's your blood, you love those people so much. They are your family, they are your people. I understand all of that. But if you've not been able to stand on yourself, you will not be able to lift your family. It will just be like a loop where everything you get is returned back home or back to whoever you're helping, and then you're left with nothing. And we fail to come to understanding that the more we are left with nothing, there's no one else that could help us, and then we are left just on our own to fend for life. And we all know how life can be very difficult, challenging, and very trying, So it is really unfair for you to come to this world and put other people's needs above your needs. It is very okay. It is even respectable for you to be selfless, but you have to come to the understanding that there are boundaries and there are lines where you have to put yourself first, where you have to always pick yourself first, because you who is letting all these burdens, all the weight of everything lay on your shoulder, should anything happen to you, I am talking to you with every sense of experience in me. There is 100% chance that they will move on and still survive in life even after you're gone. So it is not your place to keep filling people from an empty basket. You know, it doesn't make any sense. You don't have anything. You can't give what you don't have. Just as I would say, if you don't have anything in you, if you're not kind, you can't give out kindness. If you're not a happy person, you can't give out positive vibes or happy vibes. So yes, you can't give what you don't have. That is why I said, yes, I understand the importance that these are your parents, these are people that you call your loved ones. You understand what it means not to have anything. I understand that is just your human nature. But if you've not been able to come to that understanding that for you to be able to help anybody on planet Earth, you must have been able to help yourself first. And this is not me saying you must have to be a billionaire or a millionaire before you can start helping your family members. No, that is not the point. My point is you being able to stand that regardless of what is required of you doesn't affect your livelihood, at least your safety needs like food, water, shelter, clothing, all of those things. Your help for anybody should not cost you any of those things. You know, you cannot give from a place of nothing. You see how, I don't know how, I don't want to use the word crazy, but it sounds so funny. I cannot give, if you ask me to give you $1 million, I cannot give you $1 million if I don't have $1 million. So that is just how it works. And we as Africans have this mentality or sense of irresponsibility where we tend to make decisions, personal decisions that did not involve the society, does not involve your parents, your siblings, and then have this entitled mentality where you believe that because a certain person is your father, not even father, parent is understandable, a certain person is your brother, or a certain person is your sister, or even your uncle, it means you are entitled to get help anytime, any day. Life doesn't work that way. And when they say you should be able to stand on your ground, they are not saying don't help your people. That is not the point. And I feel this message just tends to fly above people's heads, many people's heads. If you speak about topics like this, people start saying things like, oh, if I have the money, I will support my brother, my sister, blah 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 blah. Understandable, but you should also understand a different part to humans, that human beings most times without limits, they are only takers. They don't give. Everybody just comes to take, they collect. Nobody considers your mental health. Nobody considers how you get this money. Nobody considers how much you have to work and fight for what you're giving. Nobody considers you. Human beings normally, naturally, it's just the natural order of things. They are good in taking without giving. So that is why it is important for you to have your boundaries, that regardless of your relationship with that person, there should be boundaries where people know not to cross. You hear certain statements, especially in the African communities, where it is said that to take care of a child requires a community. And yes, there is a sense in that statement, but there are so many people who hold on to that statement with the justification in the sense that if you're to give birth to kids that you can't take care of, kids that you did not have proper planning, there was no planning, just vibes and cruise. You gave birth to you gave birth to children without family planning, you know, just giving birth to any amount of children you want, without even considering your socio-economic status, without even considering your personal capabilities, nothing. You just give birth to children and you expect because certain person has money, you are entitled for that person to take care of your kids. Life does not work that way. Before you have children, you have to consider that for the next 20 years at least, you should have finance or the ability to be able to provide for that child for the next 20 years before you can think of anything. So that is why I always speak on this issue of marriage. It is very important to make your decisions, take good and reasonable logical decisions, so that out of ignorance and lack of irresponsibility, not wanting to do anything, you sit down at home and just, you know, going about claiming what doesn't belong to you. And if you worked for your money before, you know how hard it is to work for your money. So when you see people spending money anyhow, it's either they have enough of it or they're not the ones who worked for the money. People who work for their money don't go about spending it just anyhow and on anything, except people who lack self-control or lack lack good financial judgment. No one who works hard for their money spends their money anyhow. So in that same vein, you cannot make personal decisions and then come and with the spirit of entitlement, wanting everyone to help and support you. It is very okay if you have a kid that you can't support for any reason. It is very okay. I would even love to support, but we cannot keep on going with this mentality, and then we are breeding people where they just get up, get married, give birth to children regardless of their circumstances, without even giving it a thought for a moment, and then expecting everyone around them that is going out of their way to make something out of life to be the ones responsible for your responsibility. Life does not happen that way, regardless of what anyone tells you. I don't care how much it is you think your brother has, your sister has, your uncle has. It is not your money. If they decide to help you, it is out of the abundance of their heart, but you're not entitled to that any way, shape or form. If you decide to help me, I'll be grateful and receive it, but it now becomes a problem when I'm angry or when I find it my entitlement to always come for you, to ask you for this, to ask you for that. And most times you even discover that these people do not really even care about you. No one is asking you how you're doing. No one is even asking you where you're getting the money from. So it is really up to you to set these boundaries. If not, you just get to a point where you feel so numb and you become unable to even help yourself, and you have so much resentment for the world, you have so much resentment for yourself, you have so much resentment for your background or where you're coming from. And this mostly happens in families that are not really well to do, and we cannot let this keep happening. If the families who are well to do do not have this mentality that even if my brother is this, my sister is this, my uncle is this, I have the responsibility to go out there and make life for myself. If I want to have 3 children, it is my responsibility 100% to make sure that I'm financially stable, physically, mentally, spiritually, everything, to cater for those 3 children. I should not just stand up today and give birth to 3 children and I'm expecting my brother to take care of them, my sister to do this. Any problem I have, I'm calling people. Then what is the purpose in life? What is your purpose in life? The more we keep saying, oh, we keep hiding under the umbrella of, so long this person is my sister, so long this person is my brother, I will help them till the day they die. It is very good, but it is important and essential to understand the kind of people you are dealing with. There are people that they are only good at taking, even with boundaries. That is why you have to reinforce your boundaries. If not, there are people that are willing to cross your boundaries. There are people that don't even see your boundaries, regardless of how much you've reinforced it. That is why it is your responsibility to keep reinforcing it. You see and you hear stories about people where you can see that life is basically draining life out of them. You can literally see life draining life out of them. Yet you see people that are so entitled, wanting this from this person, and not caring how this person is even doing it and how this person is even doing. People don't love to think. People don't really care about. There is no one on planet Earth that cares so much about you more than yourself. I don't care who that person is. No one on planet Earth will put you first the way you put yourself first. No one will care for you just as you care for yourself. So everything is your responsibility. We should stop having the mentality where we are breeding people who choose not to work, choose not to be responsible because they feel they have people they can call on to, and we keep giving people that leverage to always call at any time to request for things. You should have boundaries where there are certain things and people should know that you will not go more than or beyond that. Just especially nowadays that the economy is bad, everyone just, I don't know, people just don't tend to think. People can just wake up this morning, someone can wake up this morning and ask you for $1,000, and you just wonder, like, sometimes, guys, life is just life. It is not in your power, it is not in your control to pick or choose where you come from or where you came from, but it is your power to make sure that where you're going to is where you want to go to. And if you've not been able to get yourself, you cannot help others. I'm sure all of you watching this video right now have come across the phrase, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It is just reality. That is just how our life is. If you keep on pouring and pouring and pouring, there will be nothing left for yourself. There was this quote I read somewhere that said, do not give too much of yourself, you disappear. Guys, this is one of the topics I feel we need to shed more light on. And do not mind when people attack you, when you say things like this and say you're wicked or you're not willing to help your siblings. And guys, do not let anyone blackmail you into you becoming some sort of slave to them, because to me, the way I would define it is slavery, where people are just calling to take, and it's not like you have anything tangible, you know. You've not been able to even stand your ground, you've not been able to get yourself, you've not been able to stand on your own, and people are pulling you down. Eventually you end up going down with them, you know. So in as much as you feel their pain, in as much as you understand their pain, in as much as you know exactly what it is to be in their shoes, you should have a boundary where you can help people and where you cannot help people. Personally, I would say you're endangering your life or you're cutting your life short by coming to us or coming to our world and working just to give with nothing for yourself. That is why I also spoke about self-care a few weeks ago. It is really important. Self-care is not selfish. It is not selfish at all, because if you practice self-care, then you'll be able to be better mentally, physically, to be a better friend, a better sister, a better sibling, a better partner, guys. And this is also to speak for the people who are only good at taking. Guys, we have to come to the understanding where we see people as human beings. In as much as you want, you should consider that that is also a human being on their own. As difficult as it is for you, it is difficult for every other person, regardless of their race, their class. It doesn't matter. Life is not easy for anybody. Even those billionaires, you think they're sitting at home just chilling. Life doesn't work that way. They are working. They're even working way more than you, who thinks they're at home just chilling. There's no rich man that is sitting at home chilling. Guys, life does not work that way. So please, in as much as we have people to help us, in as much as you have that brother you could easily call, you have that sister, you have that auntie, you have that cousin, don't abuse it. Do not take advantage of people beyond the normal level or the normal amount you should, you know. Strive, be responsible for your life. That is why it is important to make good and healthy decisions. When you make a decision that you want 3 children, it is up to you 100%. That is why I say you are the pilot, co-pilot, everything of your life. Everything, how your life should go, all depends on you. You should not bring children into this world and expect other people to be responsible for them, and even go ahead as getting angry that people did not help you to do your responsibility. I understand where life happens. You know, we spoke about luck and risks, so we all understand that there are certain situations where poverty is not due to laziness. We have that point out already. So you get what I'm saying, guys. You know, anything you do in this life is 100% your responsibility. It is not up to you to just go, in as much as that person is so kind, and we love to take advantage of kind and quiet people. Guys, we can do better. Don't just go calling your sibling, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, I want this, I want that. Any little problem you have, you're calling someone. That person could even be going through something times 5 worse than what you're going through, but you wouldn't know. And when people are not calling you to ask for help, it doesn't mean that they are doing okay or they are fine, they don't have any problems. No. It is just that those people have been able to come to the understanding that they understand that in as much as they are going through life, you can also be going through life. So they might not want to burden you with their own problems. It doesn't mean that they have money every day. There is nobody that life works like that. It doesn't work like that for anybody, billionaire or poor person. It doesn't work. Every day is not Christmas. There is nobody that makes money every day for the rest of their life. There are days for losses. There are days for gains, you know. So please, we should learn not to push people to the point where they are so resentful of us, especially in a place like Africa. We tend to break people I gave birth to you, I did this to you, it's because of me, it's this and this, without even understanding that this person that they are putting all the responsibility on is hanging by the thread and could do with so much help. Sometimes when people call you for help and you know a better alternative, let's say in a family space, for example, you know your capabilities, it is okay for you to tell them that for this particular one, you're not able to do it. And regardless of how many times someone must have called you, must have sent you a message that they are in a bad spot, you know, whatever they need is important, guys. If you keep giving from an empty basket or an empty cup, there will be a day where the cup will not even be there. You know, the goal is for you to be able to make it out and then to lift your people. And that is why I said, and I'm saying again, that this doesn't mean that you should not help people until you're a millionaire. No, you know your life better, you know your goals. There is a point where you know that you can stand. That is why I say every giving should be done in moderation. And no giving should cost your safety, your feeding, your shelter, your clothing, these basic important things for any human being. No help should cost you that. No help should be to your detriment. It should be about giving from a place of abundance, not a place of depletion, guys. I don't know if you're from the African community, you will understand what I'm saying, but this is something that is really, really killing so many young people who have happened to have a little light shine on them. And you see that most times it's not even circumstance, it's people, their loved ones, people in their life that one way or the other, if you're not even able to stand yourself strong, they turn off the light completely, not even dim the light. Sometimes it gets to a point where they turn off the light completely, and you see that all of you are now in the same place. Now, who will help the other person out? You know, so it is really important as a human being to be able to stand yourself. Let me give an example. It's like when you're on the airplane and they're telling you to put your oxygen mask before helping other people. Before you can help any other person, you must first put your oxygen mask. Make sure you're safe before you can even think of helping others. So that is how you need to go about life. If you go with the mentality of, I understand what it means to have nothing, so even though I don't have nothing, from my nothing I must make sure I share everything I have from my nothing. With time you will become zero, not even nothing, you become non-existent, you know. So it is important for you to make sure that you stand your ground before you can help any other person, because if you go about life like that, I can guarantee you that if care is not taken, with time you diminish, because most times you find out these people cannot even help themselves, and whatever little help they are getting is going somewhere else. So guys, I just want to encourage you to please help people but not lose yourself at the expense. And I want to share some practical tips on how you can help others without losing yourself. The first would be learn to say no gracefully. When someone asks for your help and you know deep down within you that you cannot offer that help, learn to say no gracefully. Tell them it's something you cannot do. You would love to help, but it's beyond your capability at the moment. You know, I know that sometimes again, helping has to do with our ego. We just want to give for people to know that we have, or for that savior complex, guys. It is to your detriment. So learn to say no gracefully. You alone know your capabilities. You alone know how far it will cost you if you remove $1,000 or $2,000. You alone know your calculation. So learn to say no gracefully. The next will be setting boundaries. Just as I said earlier, you need to come to a point where you yourself and other people know the lines you're not going to cross. Know how far you can reach and where you cannot pass beyond, because as I said, it is just in human nature to take and not give anything. And not just not giving anything, they don't even really care about you. Nobody asks how you're doing, how you're coping, if you're doing all right. Everyone just wants something from you, you know. So it is very important to set boundaries. You love them so much. You wanting to stand on your ground before helping them doesn't make you a bad or a wicked person. If you're not able to stand on yourself, then you will never be able to help them. The next will be prioritizing your well-being. If you've come to a point in your life where it feels like you helping people is beginning to make you feel overwhelmed and resentful, then perhaps you should check in with yourself once more to see what it is really costing you, because Guys, sometimes life can be so brutal where some people work, they leave the house from 6 a.m. and get back probably 6 p.m. in the evening, 12 hours, and when they get home, before they have dinner, before they can even catch their breath, it's already night for them to go to bed, to wake up again, only for all that they are working to go to somewhere else. People that don't even really have or know the value of the money that they are asking for, without even considering how this person is faring. Guys, that is one of the most inhumane and wicked thing that you can ever experience as a person, even to see from a third point of view. You know, it is just a very depressing situation where you find people who just take to the extent that they render someone so numb and even unable to help themselves or pick up the pieces of their life. And I've also come to the understanding that when they tend to push someone beyond their boundaries, where the person now becomes numb and totally has nothing to give, they move on to the next person, or they move on to however their means of survival would be. They move on. People would always do better. That is why I always encourage men to make sure that they put themselves first. If not, we'll keep having low death rate for men, where men come to this world, work, shoulder any and every burden you can think of, and then at the end of the day, they have low life expectancy, and when they die, people move on. You know, so guys, it is important to prioritize your well-being. Sometimes take out money. You work so hard for your money. Take care of yourself. Now, this is not you taking financial decisions, bad financial decisions. No, you alone know how it is. You know how you get your money. Especially for people who don't have help from anybody, life is very different for such people. So you know you don't have help from anybody. You know you cannot call anybody when you enter. No matter how serious the trouble is, you know you have nobody to call. Do not let yourself be at a point where you have nothing. Having nothing always is a threat to your life. It is important for you to always make sure that you are not threatened. Your safety needs, your food, your shelter, your clothes, you should be able to figure out those things first before you can think of helping anybody. If you have such big dreams, visions, then go after those things so that when you get them, you can now help people. If not, you cannot just help someone when you've not been able to help yourself, guys. The last would be to focus on quality and not quantity. You must not help 10 people. Because you have 10 people who need something very, very urgent, life and death, does not mean you have to help 10 people. You know your capabilities. If you can help just one, help one person. If you can help 5, help 5 people. If you can help 7, help 7 people. If you can help 10, help 10 people. But don't go helping 10 people when you have the capability of helping 2 people. You will just drive yourself to a point of resentment where you have so much inbuilt anger in you, for the world, for everyone, for your background, you know, and that is just not how to live life. Everyone has a purpose, everyone has a responsibility, everyone's life is their responsibility 100%. I understand where life happens and things happen, it's different, but do not let or give people the idea where they feel so entitled to always ask for help when you yourself have not been able to get anything for life. It is a very dangerous train of thought. You will never grow with such mindset. Being able to grow, you must first be able to stand on yourself. If not, just as the example I gave, if you're a sick person and you ask someone to lean on you, both of you will fall to the ground and you end up getting more sick, or perhaps depending on your situation, you die, you know. So it is just a really toxic circle that we have in Africa, and it gives room to people. And of course, everything I'm saying is not everybody, just some people. It gives room for some people to feel so entitled, not to work, not to do anything, and you know, just go about living life based on assistance from people. And then when you don't assist, and it's not that you can't even assist or you're refusing to assist, it's just at that point in time, you just cannot assist. Sometimes it even brings more problems that you're not able to assist. So guys, you cannot, or we as a society cannot keep feeding into this bad or wrong mindset. don't let anyone tell you you're wicked because you don't have the capability to take care of the people you claim to love. You love them so much. Even God understands, and if they are good people, they will understand that you cannot give from an empty cup and you cannot pour from an empty cup. So you cannot give what you don't have. Do not kill yourself over people that would move on following the after you've gone, you know. So I understand that you're very empathic. I understand that you don't like to see anyone suffer. I understand that you've gone through that and you don't want anyone to go through that. I understand that you love them too much to see them go through life. But you have to love yourself first. Be able to take care of yourself. If you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anybody. Everything starts with you. If you're not able to stand yourself, you cannot stand anybody. If you're not able to take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anybody. So yeah, I just thought to speak on this topic and to just speak to anyone who is having such thoughts where you're battling with your conscience or your mind, thinking perhaps you're a wicked person if you don't come through, or you know exactly what it feels when someone does not have anything and you don't want the other person to feel it. I understand. Your help should not be from a place of depletion. It should be from a place of abundance or a place of plenty at least. You know, don't help to your detriment. Do not help people to you lose yourself. It is one of the most rough places you can ever be. So please, just let's try to do better. Let's try to not project our problems, especially financial problems, on other people. And also, let's try to not help people to our detriment, you know. Please, before you always ask, collect, think about people, consider people. There's no one on planet Earth that does not have any problem that they are dealing with. So, yeah, and as much as that friend, brother, partner, cousin, whatever is not calling you, they never call you, you never hear them talk about their problems, it doesn't make them void of problems. You can be mind blown that such people even have greater problems than you do. It's just that they have a better understanding of life and they will not want to bother you. So please, let us show people grace. I understand that that person is your sister, I understand that person is your child, I understand that person is your family member, whatever it is, but please, let's treat people with grace. It is not easy, so let's not pin our issues on other people. Let's make life easy for other people instead. So yeah, I just thought to talk about this topic, but let's move into what I've been watching and listening to this week. The first on my list would be The Day of the Jackal. That is a series that can be found on streaming platforms. You can't find it on Netflix, but guys, that is such a show. The Day of the Jackal, very interesting, very interesting, and I will not give you spoilers on this one. Just go give it a watch. And then the next would be Cross or The Cross, one of the above, Cross or The Cross. But yeah, I'm going to leave the flyer so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, that is also another, guys, good, entertaining, very interesting TV show. This also can be found on streaming platforms. And for this one, I don't know if you watch Reddington, Tom King in Reddington. I'm so sorry, I forgot his real name. Ryan Egg something. I've forgotten his real name, but guys, he is such an artist. Like, he portrayed the Ramsey character in this Cross to a T. And when I first saw him playing the character, you know, he reminded me of his character Tom in Reddington, and it is just such an outstanding performance. He really embodied the character, played it to a T. Guys, just give these two series a watch. They are just, I can keep going on and on and on, you know, so just give them a watch. The next on my list would be Gladiator 2. I got to watch this as well, and it is such an interesting movie, especially Denzel Washington, his part, his role. He killed that role to a T. It was just a 10 over 10, and Denzel Washington was like my favorite. You know, he made the movie. So yeah, give it a watch if you haven't. It is truly an interesting watch, and you should look out for the character Denzel Washington played. And then what I have been listening to this week, guys, Wizkid released his album titled Mariah. And I remember 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, when he released Piece of My Heart, I was saying, because I'm not such a fan of love songs, I hope his album is not about love and women, knowing who Wizkid is. But I must say this album surpassed my thoughts. It surpassed my expectations. Yes, that's a better word, expectations. And before I go into the review of this album, I just want to say I am not a music critic. This is just my personal opinion on the album. I am such a huge fan of the people I speak on my channel, their albums. So yeah, Wizkid is someone I really admire, his lifestyle, or what I say, how he's been able to carry himself. Yes, I love that he is a very private person, and of course he's someone who knows what he's doing. And this album just further proves my point, in the sense that, guys, after listening to this album, you know that there's a lot of work that went into the production. There was a lot of creativity, and I want to share it with you guys from my Spotify so we go over it together. And the album has 16 songs, and out of the 16 songs, I can say it is only 3 songs I don't like. So the album, it is just a beautiful album. And let me paint a picture for you guys. When I listen to this album, what comes to my mind? Me laying down in a dark room, the song is on play on a JBL speaker, and everywhere is dark, even the TV is dark as well, and I'm just listening to it, lost in my thoughts and just being alone. You know, that is, I don't know, that is just what I see when I listen to the album. It is just a bit, you know, when you appreciate something so much, you're lost for words. That's exactly how I feel about this album. So let's get right into the review of Victoria's review. So the first song will be Troubled Mind. From the title alone, I already knew that. Okay, let me speak on my predictions before the album. I knew that I just had a sense of, I don't know what to call it, but I just had the sense that Ashake was going to be featured on the album. And then for this Troubled Mind, as when I saw the title, I just knew that, okay, after all this while and after the years, if Wizkid is really going to put his mind, body and soul into this album, then we'll get a lot of life lessons, jams, you know, just, it's just beautiful, guys. I'm lost for words. But the first track, Troubled Mind, I love it so much. And the intro of the song, where it is a traditional way of hyping people, you know, healing people. It is just beautiful. I'm just lost for words, guys. But yeah, Troubled Mind is a jam. I downloaded it, and I'm going to be adding it on my playlist today, so give it a listen. I'm sure a lot of you must have listened to it, but if you haven't, you're really missing. Next would be Karamo. I also love the intro of Karamo, but I'm not a fan of the song, but I love the beat, and that's also something that was consistent in this album. The beats, I love all the beats, the instruments, the saxophone, just everything, even the undertones of the song, the undersounds, like the backups, everything is just well thought of. Then we have Kese, one of the songs that came out. I told you guys, this is one of my favorites on the song. And just as I said, the beat, he took his time to, everything was just so well thought of. The next would be Bad Girl featuring Ashake, my favorite, of course. Even though for this song, they didn't really say much based on the lyrics, but I love the beat so much. It's a song where I see myself just being carried away in my thoughts and jamming to it, you know, just having a cool vibe. And I just love music that is uplifting, that uplifts my mood, my tempo, my mind. I love it. So yeah, it has Ashake, of course. So yeah, I love Bad Girl. Then the next would be Time. Time is a slow, cool jam, and he actually did some vocal works on this album. You know, he really gave, it's just a sweet album, guys. Time is nice. Piece of My Heart, I'm not really a fan of love songs, but it's also a nice jam. Break Me Down is one of the songs I didn't download. Karamo and Break Me Down, I'm not a fan of the Break Me Down. I don't know why, but it doesn't mean it's not nice, just not a personal preference. The next will be Bend. I would say from Bend till the end of the album was just banger after banger, you know, just gems, things for you to listen to. And I know that we love to listen to songs to just dance, but sometimes there are life lessons, there are things you get to hear, and you know, things that changes your perspective or gives you better insight if you pay attention and listen. So from Ben down to the last song is no skip for me, at least. So I love Ben. A Million Blessings. A Million Blessings is one of my top favorites on the album. Then Actress, I think, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the name correct, but Actress something. I love that as well. I love that he featured a French artist because it tends to tender to the francophone countries, francophone fans. You know, you have that for the French, and it's really nice, lovely. And then Bad For You is the last song I wasn't feeling, and that was just because I was just tired of love and woman. I'm just not a fan of such songs. So Bad For You, nice, but that's one of the songs I didn't download. And then Soji kind of gives me that Kese vibe. It reminds me of Kese. I love Soji so much. Don't Care, love so much. Slow is also one of my favorites, absolute favorites on the album. Then we have Lose and Pray as well. And I would not lie, I listened to the album this morning before making this video, and I didn't have enough time, but just as I say, I am short for words. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. If it's the lyrics, if it's the beats, I don't just know, but I am just so, I just get so happy when people who know what they are doing give it their best. You know, excellence is just something beautiful to watch, experience, listen, be a part of. It is just a really beautiful thing, and he really supersedes my expectation, and he really sets the standard, you know. And I kind of understand why some Nigerians will not get the album or love it. I understand, but guys, the standard is a standard, and he keeps raising the standard, and I am just so inspired by his body of work, his talent, and it's just beautiful, guys. So from Bend down to Pray, like no skip, and legit, guys, I am just short of words. It is just a beautiful album that I see myself listening to up until next year with no skip. And always on replay, aside these 3 songs, of course, that I mentioned, and I will add them to my playlist for the year, guys. Out of 16 songs, I was able to fall in love with 13, and out of those 13 songs, I can say my favorites would be almost 7. So I can't even really give you guys a favorite now. So probably from next week, when I must have immersed in the song and everything behind the song, you know, maybe I would have more or less favorite. But for now, I can say I have up to 7 favorites, and not to sound like a broken record, but it is just really beautiful, and it just leaves me feeling inspired. You know, it keeps my dream alive. You know, it ignites a fire in me, and I don't know, guys, I'm just speechless. But yeah, that is just Morayo. It is one of the most beautiful albums of 2024, and there's been so many beautiful albums from Nigeria this year, and this is one of the beautiful albums, just well thought of, you know, well put together. And if you try and get behind, because sometimes I would say this, that sometimes for you to understand certain things, you have to kind of be in the mind of that person. So yeah, there was a lot of creativity, new things, you know, just upgrade, and just beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me once more. I hope I didn't bore you this week. And if you have any opinions, any thoughts you would love to share in the comment section, feel free to leave them, and we'll engage per usual. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your week.